So there's loads of little pieces that I want to plate, like these little clips or clamps that hold down the airbox. There's two of them, one either side of the throttle body. There's this bracket here on top of where the ignition barrel is, and then there's a second part of it just here. You know, stuff like that. I mean, there's a wee bracket there. Look at that. It's all blotchy and, you know, deteriorating. There's a wee clamp there, a couple of those on top of the rocker cover that you know, just all needs I just want to give that all a refresh. Okay, so I have decided to just leave this bottom part of this on. There's no point in taking it off and starting to strip that off. It actually looks in pretty good condition, so I'm not going to bother with that. There's those wee retaining clips, like I was saying, and that wee screw is for that. There's the wee components and stuff, and these are the screws off those brackets, plus the top of the reed valve, the other wee clips for the airbox, and the top part of that clamp, and its bolts as well. So now that I have this whole array of parts to do my first batch of plating, one of the most important things that you've got to do when you're plating, put in the correct amount of current in amps to plate these parts successfully. And you have to put in 0.14 amps per square inch of surface area for any part. That's what you should be shooting for. Now, the thing is, there are websites like Caswell's plating website that give like a conversion chart for various things like bolts, etc. And I'll stick a photograph up of that to measure, you know, what the surface area of that is in order to work out the amps. But for complicated shapes like that, or like that, you know, or like that, how do you work out the how many square inches that is in order to calculate that? Now, there's a guy has a YouTube channel on the internet and regarding plating, and I picked up this tip from him, and it is this here graph paper, and it's a really handy way to calculate something. So this might look a bit, I have previously done these parts and worked out the amount of square inches there are, and subsequently the amount of amps that are required. So I have worked out that each of these squares is 10 millimeters. They're 10 millimeter squares, and there are 6.4 squares per square inch. Okay, so what you've got to do is you've got to set that onto a piece of unmarked graph paper, align it up, and draw around it. And then, which is what I have done there, draw around it, and then count how many full squares there are. Okay, so there's 22 full squares for this piece. 22. And then the partial squares, you kind of estimate, you put two of them together that would look like they would make up a full square, and you list them two together as one. So there are 22 full squares, and then there's 16 partial squares. Okay, and then you've also got to measure the thickness of it. You know, the thickness of that would be about a half a square thick. So I counted around that, and we've got 38 squares, the whole circumference of that. So you'd obviously divide that by half, because, you know, they are half squares. So you've got 70, that would work out at 17.5 squares. For this 22 full squares plus 16 squares, that's a total of 38 squares per side, because you're obviously going to be plating both sides. So that's 76. Sorry if this is getting a bit complicated. 76 squares for both sides. Okay, so 76 plus 17.5 half square, or 17.5 squares, is 93.5 squares in total. Okay, so then it's 93.5 squares divided by 6.4, because takes 6.4 per half inch. So that gives then a total area in square inches of 14.609 square inches on that one piece. Right? So then it's 14.609 multiplied by 0.14 amps, because it's 0.14 per square inch. So that one piece there, to plate that, you've got to enter 2.04 amps. All right, clear as mud, but there it is. And then, of course, that wee bit there as well. Where is it? That wee bit. Same thing, two sides. That one there, two sides, and there's two of them. And, you know, so that one there is going to take 0.83 amps. And that one there is going to take 0.61 amps for the both of those. So, I mean, if you wanted to plate these two plus this one together, you add those two plates plus that plate together, and you enter 1.44 amps of that. And then on the other side are, you know, these things, and there's two of those, right? And then there's these bolts here, and of course that would be the full rotation of that bolt. So again, that works, and there's two of those, you know, so that again, that there would be, you know, the amount of amps that I've worked out. There's one little screw, this one, which would be this, and then, you know, there's these ones here, there's four of those. So as I say, you'd add that one, two of those, four of those, and one of those together, and it would be 1.09 amps. You know, and then, you know, you could also add those two clips those two clips there. There's two of those two clips plus those two screws together, and it would be 1.56 amps. But anyway, that's the basics of it. But I'll give it a go and see if it works. And I mean, hopefully I have erred on the low side of the amount of amps, because you can always increase it. You watch it closely while it's being plated. Okay, so I have a parts washer, and I have a blasting cabinet, and I have a ultrasonic cleaner, and I could use those pieces of equipment to deal with these here next, these parts here next. But I'm just going to use something more simple, just in case people don't have those things. And I have here a degreaser. I'll stick a photograph up of what that is and where you can buy it, etc. And I have this brick and patio cleaner, which is like a brick acid. So the first thing is we want to degrease those parts, and we'll use the degreaser to do that first. So it's about a 50-50 mix of just normal water and the degreaser, and you know, here's the little screws here, and a handy way I find to hold those rather than your fingers and scrubbing it is if you have one of these you know, keyless chucks, you can just sort of put that in there like that, and it's good as a holder. So I'll just put my gloves on and degrease those parts. I'll just put the rest of these parts in. Okay, so they've been in there about maybe 10 minutes or so. I think I'll just transfer them from there. They're well degreased into this little tub of water. Well, it's just ordinary water. Just wash all that degreaser off them. Okay, so now we'll put some of this brick acid in. Again, about a 50-50 mix. And you should see these things starting to fizz. See that? See that starting to fizz there? So the parts will initially turn black until all of the plating is gone. You can see here, I'll lift this out, where some of it, see that? Where some of it is still black and some of it is completely cleaned off. See that? Just leave that into the rest of it goes. These parts here, as you can see, are pretty much stripped completely. Okay, so you can see now the fizzing has completely stopped. All of the plating is completely stripped off. You need your gloves on you for that. Look, you can see that. See the plating completely gone. So we'll put it into the water here to rinse all of that off. Okay guys, so you can see all the parts there. That's what they look like after they have been completely stripped of their original plating, acid dipped, and now they're in the water here, cleaning all that acid off. So the next thing I want to do is take those out, dry them. They will if I'm not quick, they'll get like a flash rust on them very fast because they're just pure bare metal. And because I want a shiny finish on the finished plated articles, I want to polish these here slightly with wire brush, wire wheel, or on the bench grinder, maybe a Dremel to let me get in there with a little wire brush on there. But there's one there that I've just polished on the wire wheel. You can see that. And there's one that's straight after the acid dip and rinsed off in the water. I mean, if you didn't want a shiny finish on your finished plating, you would just do the plating now. But if you want a nice shiny finish, so you can see there a direct comparison between the two. Okay guys, so here are all the parts polished up on the wire wheel as I was showing you. They're all just sitting there prepared, completely stripped, prepared, ready to plate. All right, so here's all the parts with a copper wire attached, and I was practicing, getting the length right. You just want them pretty close to the top, but yet submerged. So I was just doing this on a spare container that I have just to make sure that the wire is the same length for all. Okay, so the very first thing we want to do is drop it into this degreaser here and keep it in there for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, so that's my time up. Lift this out. Some people drop it into another tank, but I will just spray it with deionized water, and then into the next tank here, this acid pickle, for 10 to 15 seconds. So let's go 10 seconds. All right, you see a tiny wee bit of fizzing, right? Once again, spray it with deionized water. And then into the plating tank. And it'll be going in here for about 20 minutes. So connect that negative to there. So we're going 2.4 amps. Oh, 2.04 amps. Very hard to be accurate with this, but that's it. That's it there. 2.4 amps. Put my timer on for 22 minutes. And I'll put my little circulation pump plus my air pump on. Actually, I'll check it in 10 minutes and to see what way the plating's going, and then I think I will turn it end for end so that, I mean, just to be 100% sure it's getting plated evenly on both sides. Okay, so that's about in there about 10 minutes now. I'm going to lift it out and have a look at it and make sure it's fine. And when you go to do a thing like that, always remember to disconnect the power first and then lift it out. So there you go. You can see that is getting plated absolutely perfectly. Nice and bright. So I'll now put it in just this way here, just to make sure that it's getting coated absolutely the right way, evenly both sides. So just connect that again. So we're back up to 2.4 amps, which is what I worked it out at, and it seems to be fine. Okay, so that's time up on that one as well now. Lift it out and spray it with some deionized water to clear it all. Yeah, you can see that. You can see that there. It's lovely and bright. There it is. Perfectly zinc plated. See that? So we'll spray it with deionized water. I would just want to keep you in shot there. And then into this acid etch here. 10 seconds for that. It says 10 to 15 seconds, but we'll go just 10 seconds. Lift that out again, just to let the passivate, which will be next, just adhere to it better. Okay, so the last thing now is this yellow passivate. Some people, their kit, the actual passivate is yellow, whereas this one here is blue, but it still will come out yellow. So I'll just set this again to 10 seconds. Well, I'll go 12 seconds. It says 10 to 15 seconds. I'll go 12. That should do it. I'll switch that off. There you go. See that? Gold. There's gold in them there hills. There you go, guys. So, spray it again with deionized water. And hang it up. So let's see how the bolts are getting on this time. Yeah. There you go. See that? And the wee brackets, the wee clips. So it's the same procedure for each of the batches. Of course, with the exception that the ampage is different for each batch. All right, guys, that's them all done, as you can see. I'm very well pleased with them. Just have to leave these here now for at least 24 hours, maybe a bit longer, and let that passivate just harden off. Oh, and lastly, don't forget to take out all of the anodes when you're done, dry them, and just leave them on a paper towel to completely dry off, and then stored for the next time. One more look at these wee pieces. Yeah, I'm very happy with those. Okay, guys, all the best. See you later. Bye. Okay, guys, so just for completion, I thought I would just show you the parts there after 24 hours that have all dried off. Passivate's all nice and hardened now. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. It's my first time doing this here, and you know, you kind of sort of feel in your way, you know, to hopefully get it right. But yeah, it seems that preparation, like everything, preparation is the key. So there you go. Some difference between that and the way they were. Okay, guys, all the best. Bye.